Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. So we're going to check out, we have a lot of earnings tonight. We have FOMC tomorrow, and we have this just wonderful setup here today that we added on some plenty of puts on our portfolio, and we took off the call hedges exactly where we wanted to. So I'll show you all of that and more. We're going to look at Microsoft, Google, and Meta, or Alphabet, whatever you call it now, but Alphabet, Meta, and Microsoft, just because we're coming into a handful of earnings right after the bell, going into FOMC. So this is just a huge area, and I want you to see exactly what these indicators are looking like going into these catalysts. So does everything match up, and we get this big spike tomorrow? Do we fail? Anything can happen with these. And I will mention, though, a lot of times when you have a couple or few big techs kind of having their earnings, they oftentimes really offset each other. So if one really spikes higher, 10%, 20%, and the other two, stay still or tank that much. And so, the market is going to reveal itself no matter what the individual names, whatever happens with those. The market's going to do what it wants. If it's achieved its goal, then it's going to reverse. If it wants to go higher, it will use those as an excuse. So, okay. We're doing this intraday about 12:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube member. This is a good example of having the opportunity. It's only 99 cents a month to support the channel. And this is a good opportunity. Maybe you didn't see the channels that I'm getting ready to show you. Maybe you didn't see something, and you get it intraday, and you're able to kind of look at your point of view a little bit differently or the same, right? So let's check this out. We have SPX. Here's your naked look here, and just exuberance, right? And a lot of times when these things happen, you get a reversal at minimum, a pullback. But we're looking for a reversal and an end to all of this. But we're always going to keep in mind that we just have one more pullback and one more high. So it appears that the structure here, to me, is complete, and that you have this structure here, you have your wave 4 pullback, and we're done. Okay, that's what it appears to me. I think this is a wave 3 into 4, and we have this structure completing itself. Maybe a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. So whatever the case is, we'll find out really soon here. But this could just be a hangman candle up top here. Could be a potential reversal candle. And that's going to be super important coming up here in the near term. All right. So here's your trend. Again, you had this consolidation area. If you bought this last one, you did very well. Okay. Congratulations. And that's how this indicator works. I'm just looking at the Smart MACD. And with the new highs, you're making lower highs here. So it's just a big warning on that situation. If you're long now, maybe peel off a little bit at this point. Here's your moving averages. Again, that 8 EMA, 20 is the trend. They remain up. Here's a traditional look. And from this point of view here, we're just keeping the wedge and this trend line to see what happens next. I thought we might have gotten a reversal off of it back here. We no longer need this line. This is just making things messy. We had our breakout, and yes, there are some tops that form. I'll show you on SPY the look here. As a matter of fact, I'll do it right now while we're on this traditional look. Here's what I have in SPY. Nope, not spiked. So with SPY, this would contain this move so far. So you have these lows connecting. this one here wasn't a good enough trend line until this price action happened. So it threatened to get below here. Then you have a spike, a stick save. And so all of these are valid touches, making this a very interesting spot. We have plenty of touches on the upside. So this channel is legit, and it holds strong at this point. And that's where we're having trouble, price action right at that same spot here. And same thing, we're not going to do a full analysis on NDX, but I do want to show you same kind of thing is happening here. Not sure which board I had it on. Maybe it was the Qs. It doesn't matter. We can draw it ourselves here. If you take the bottom points, connect those, and then connect it with the peak here, possibly forming a channel right there. So we're at that channel top as we speak. All right. So this is a good time to actually point out that we're at the options expected moves to the upper end. And so I'm not saying that this is going to get wrecked all the way back down to the other end. It's certainly possible when you have a setup like this, but it's just not a probable situation. So I'm not saying that we'll reach the lower end, and you'll see that in just a second when I go down to the 65. But we did place a trade on MJ as well, just to let you know ahead of time. We have these individual stock videos that are $4.99 a month, and I'm getting plenty of those out these days. Things have lightened up in my personal life here, so I'm able to get a lot more of these videos and the setups, the exact setups that we do with these trade alerts. Okay, so we went through the trend. Here's calling an oscillator and starting to roll over again, not making a new peak. Let's see what happens here. This looks, this looks like it wants to roll over, but clearly I have a bias to the downside, and so you could make one more peak here if the market wants to continue to gap up each day. Here's our RSI, making a kind of a level spot here. Now, we did have our correction already, and so that reset everything, and so we're getting those overbought territory conditions again. So we'll see if this is just a lower high, or when this is going to be complete. We don't have a rollover yet. We actually have a buy signal on the MACD, and then that will give us divergence. If we roll over, that will confirm a divergence, and we'll look for this to play out. Not confirmed yet. Here's our DMARC. Here's one early sell signal for us. We have a 9 count here. It's not really showing it on. I'll go over to SPY right now and see if it shows up. For some reason on SPX, and sometimes those won't show up there, but we do have a 9 count. I'm certain I saw 8 count yesterday, and we talked about it in Discord. I'm not sure why it's not setting up right now. So we have a 9 count into resistance. And with the money flow, I'll go to this divergence. And again, this divergence line could act as that resistance as well. But this is just set up so you can see the divergences. And we have a big divergence going into this constant gap up. We're clearly not getting any volume into this, so no confirmation of this move higher. And so this money flow index, it's the RSI, relative strength index plus volume, and so we're not getting any volume this move. It's the whole meaning of it is distribution, so that's what it's telling us. Bollinger Band, I mean, you're outside the bands, overbought conditions. This is a setup by itself. The setup was yesterday too. We gapped up again. We have 3 drives to a high. Closed one of the gaps, it looks like, but we have had 3 gaps going on. This is a sell setup. This is clear to me that I don't use this specifically for my setups, but this is certainly more confidence in a reversal, even if it's just a pullback. We're not going to see any volume because we're trading all-time highs here. Still raising a little bit. We're still getting a lower high, telling us we're somewhere in this wave 5, whether it's done or not. If we make a new peak here above these highs, then we have something else going on. Let's go to VIX. I think somebody mentioned something in the comments there. The VIX can build a base going into these lows into next week. We have the 31st on Friday, and then next week we're looking at opening up on the 3rd, I believe. And that's going to take us right into a daily minor cycle low. So, that could happen. Maybe we consolidate here and have one more low going into tomorrow in FOMC and the tech earnings. So that certainly could happen. Otherwise, the cycle's not really telling us much right now. We got a pop off of this low, but maybe we're now in a down phase, and we're going to ride some of this this upper trend line here. So we'll have to see. So no setup from the cycles itself, but it does appear that we're trying to get form some sort of low at this point. All right, so with the VIX, you can look at the moving averages. We're certainly underneath all this. A lot of work to do to get back above. So do we spike up here again and then get a new low? That's what we're going to have to pay attention to. So if this starts to move higher, just keep in mind we have resistance, a big resistance right here at 17, and see how, and also that back test, right? So let's see how this acts. If it pushes up first, if it pushes below first, then we might get ourselves a setup for a new move. While we're on the daily time frame, let's look at, let's go to Google first. So Google, if you take your traditional look, take your traditional look, we had a channel that we're kind of keeping our eye on. I haven't found anything else that brings us to this peak here. Maybe there's a couple highs here we can connect and find, but at this point we're just above the channel. You saw a little reaction off of it before, but we'll see if this is a fake break or not. The only thing I think we have left unfinished business here is this 200% extension, and this is from the lows here. This is from this correction from peak to trough, and that's given us a 200% at about 274. So we'll see if that happens from earnings, get a pop and drop maybe. Okay, and if we go over to Meta's holding on to this trend line here. We used the bottom. We had a stick save through, and that brought us right to the lows here. And so I'm only looking at this two different ways, and it's kind of playing around with this peak, this former peak. Get rid of that one. So looking at this two different ways, this is still a 3-wave move, and so maybe we have this massive, seen it before, Meta loves to gap up really far. So if it gaps up, makes new highs, then this 3-wave move clearly was confirmed, but then we'll probably have all of these divergences in the higher time frame. So we'll keep an eye out for that. And we don't know what this is going to do. But if it wants to be really bearish, this is a 1-2, 1-2 setup. And you can continue to see this fall. And when it does, Meta likes to move up or down and really just like steady moves, just relentless moves. So we'll see what this brings to the table. Again, you can't really predict where it's going. It's obviously, if you're bullish in an uptrend, you're probably going to be right most of the time, but we don't know what the first reaction is going to be. Let's see if it causes technical damage and breaks down, or if it makes new highs and we're looking for a setup, maybe a 3 peak up here or something like that. And we'll put this up here. As a matter of fact, we'll put something up just in case it gaps way higher up here. Let's see if it tags one of these lines up top, and we can get a short off of it afterwards. All right, what was the other one? Microsoft. again, Microsoft, possible the structure, maybe this is a wave 4 into here. And haven't quite gotten a new high yet, but it's clearly having trouble off of this 162% extension from the correction that we have here. So, yeah, this is just a pullback. If we do get a pullback into a wave 4, this is the correction here from top to peak to trough, and then you have your extensions after that. So there's your 162 that price action's fighting with right now. Can't stay above so far. All right, so that gives you that, and then let's go to back to SPY on the 65. So going to the traditional look here, that's our channel once again, rejecting off of it. So having some problems here. It's also the options expected move to the upper end, and that's what we were talking about when we said, hey, we're going to start on Friday. I was anticipating if I would have waited till Monday, we wouldn't have been able to get these hedges on very well. So they wouldn't have been worth a whole lot more to us, but we got them on Friday. And so it brought us right to the channel top, the options expected move. I took those off today. There's no reason to have hedges on. This is not the type of move where this is more of just an objective short from right at this point. And if you have losses because it gaps up again, my guess is you'll have a big red candle. If we gap up, you'll have this candle that breaks down and fails to hold above this channel. That's just a guess again. You do have that measured move from the triangle a little bit higher. So let's see what happens. But then, if we start moving above this channel, then we're really, really close to some of our objectives to the upper end. And when I say objectives, that doesn't mean I'm trading to the upside, unfortunately. But we have our next move here. So now our fifth wave is officially the same size, a little bit bigger than our third wave. So that's all that this is here for. It's not for actual resistance, even though it might act as a little bit. But here's your point up here at 694, 695. We have a confluence of things happening up here. So is this a 1, 2, 1, 2? And we have wave 3 looking for 4 and 5. That's possible. Well, let's see what this channel does. And it would really mean some unfinished business if we didn't go up here, but we're at a ceiling somehow. So let's see what tech and FOMC, maybe they give us big wicks. I know it's a big move, right? It's 8 points. Yeah, 8 points to the upside. That'd be quite a cruel fake break, but we'll see. QQQ is already at it. It's above the 162% extension. So again, let's see what nobody knows what earnings going to do except for some insiders, probably with Pelosi or something like that. So going into this channel top, let's see what things look like. So we have that traditional look. We have the trend that's up clearly. If you would have bought right here, that would have been a good point. This is, if I would have thought to myself a little bit better, I probably should have hedged at this point when we had the buy signal. Seeing we were looking at this as an ascending triangle and then putting it on back here, we would have had a lot more protection from that point. But live and learn. Here's your moving averages. All right, clearly up, nothing to look at. All right, so how do these look? We're in extreme overbought conditions, and with that new peak there, you actually had a slight divergence, and this could mark a top here. That's it's getting pretty extreme. We were up to about 90 or so, 91 on that scale, and so that's just a short in itself for at least a pullback. So I don't think this is going much higher. We're starting to diverge. We're having a sell signal on the slow stochastic, and that's matching what this is all about. And we're also getting to that point where our upper boundary here, it's a very, very good spot to see that a possible reversal is happening. And it doesn't always mark the exact top. You see this one just caused divergence, and then we had our bigger correction right here from peak to peak. So this can cause an actual retracement, and then if you pull back here, you can get those negative divergences like we had back here as well. So I might as well mark those just so I'll make them on my own time. I'll make those more viewable. So again, we actually made a new peak right here going into the larger correction right there. So we didn't even hit the top boundary, but let's see, we're at resistance in the upper boundary with sell signals. I think this is a wonderful objective short here. DMARC. So we did have our 9 count DMARC sell signal. We had a 13 9 count as of today. So it's a beautiful setup in itself into resistance. Money flow. All right, we got to that overbought scenario. And again, this matches along with everything else. A nice short from this point. And the Bollinger Band. We had that sell and then a little consolidation before move higher. Do we pop up and get that upper band once again? Again, that's up to earnings and FOMC, this channel top. I'm not quite sure that's going to happen, but that's what we'll look for. Another objective short if we see this get a little bit higher. Elliott Oscillator made that new high. And again, we're looking for the scenario. You have no setup, but you could have a lower high and then a new move higher. And that would set us up for this specific setup. We don't have one here right now. All right, that should be about it. Once again, take a look at the VIX. Nice wedge that's forming here right now. And could be an ABC for a correction. So if we do get a gap down, maybe we can fill that here depending on, again, what happens with tech and FOMC. Otherwise, you have a couple higher lows that's starting to happen. But if you want to be on the safe side, obviously you have your wedge top, and 17 would be a big area to see this get through. So if we spike up here and see a wick happen and we start to reverse for a new low, that would be, obviously we pulled back in SPY, SPX, and that would mean we pulled back, maybe we pull back to a certain point and we form, again, this could be a 1-2-1-2. So if this is wave 3 and we pull back and get rejected on the VIX and maybe close the gap or come to the gap bottom and go for a new high, that would mean we have more structure to go. 1-2. You could even have a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, depending on what happens. This I can count this. I have an ABC for this to end here. So again, it's an objective short. But if we can't, if we can hold the gap top or bottom, maybe close it since we have so many, then we go for a new high. And then that would start to create those divergences that I was talking about, like the Elliott wave and things like that, and the money flow. We'd probably see it in all of those. So we'll see what price gives us. It's going to be a nice short here. I do have a good feeling of that. I doubt we're gapping up higher, but we'll see. You know, the market can do anything. So, all right. Hope this all helps. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for all your support.